Good? Awesome sauce. Good morning, everyone. My name is Christina Herrera. I am with Deer Oaks EAP. I'm an account manager with the company. Now, when it comes to any comments, questions, concerns, complaints, even compliments, I'm going to be your go-to girl for absolutely everything. So what we're going to do today is go over, it's an EAP orientation, so I'm going to go over all of the services in a nutshell. I know, being the fact that we're doing a live broadcast, y'all don't really have the capability of asking questions. So at the very end of the presentation, I will have a PowerPoint slide that has all of my personal contact information. It has my office number as well as my email address. So if any questions come up, you feel free to email me or give me a shout, and I'll be more than happy to help you out. So what we're going to go ahead and start off with is just the basic information as far as the EAP itself in a nutshell. So we are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So no matter what time of day you call, you're always going to be answered by a live clinician. Now, we are a nationwide service, so wherever you go, we go as well. We're kind of like travelers. I'm sure you've seen that commercial with the red umbrella, except ours is blue. Now, what we've contracted to do with the school district is to provide counseling. That's primarily what we're known for, is our counseling. We've contracted to offer 3-visit models, so that means 3 counseling sessions at no cost to you. Now, it is per person, per issue, per year. So as long as it's a new presenting issue, every single time you call in, you're always going to be getting 3 sessions. Let's go into what the EAP is known for. As I mentioned, is counseling. We are solution-focused based. So basically, our goal when it comes to the counseling aspect of what we do is to get the employees in, get them giving some tips and tools during their counseling sessions to get them back to work productive and happy, if you will. Okay. So some of the presenting issues that we get called for, there are a plethora, of course, but when I was doing the PowerPoint presentation, these are the ones that predominantly popped up. So job-related stress, marital, child and adolescent, bereavement, anxiety, work-related stress, nobody has that. Dealing with divorce issues, the list goes on and on. Oh, okay, perfect. So with the EAP, being the fact that your employer pays for this service, a lot of employees choose not to utilize the counseling services or any of the services that are going to be mentioned today for the fact of the confidentiality aspect of it. But I can tell you from personal experience, one of my biggest pet peeves is I can't come out here and harp on the services or encourage y'all to utilize the services if I don't utilize them myself. So if I felt at any time that my privacy or my confidentiality would be violated by my executive director or my president or whomever, I would never utilize the services. But because I know they're not, and we're completely HIPAA compliant like a doctor's office, I know I'm able to utilize these services at 100% with my privacy intact. So with that being said, I do want to encourage you to utilize the services. I promise you that there's no way that anyone from HR or risk management or benefits would find out that you've utilized the services. So definitely feel free to pick up that phone and call with confidence to utilize any of the services that I'm going to talk about today. So going into the eligibility of services. So we cover the entire household, blood relative or non-blood relative. We even cover children that are going off to college for the first time in a different state, maybe the same city, whatever the case may be. So if you have a best friend who's going through a fight with her husband, let's just give that example, and is staying on your couch for 2 weeks, she will have full access to all the services that the employee and the household has just for staying underneath the roof of that employee of the school district. Now, if there's any voluntary or involuntary separation, if you are either to quit the school district or be fired from the school district, knock on wood, hopefully it doesn't happen, you will be allowed services up to 6 months. Now, if you retire with the school district, you will also have services to utilize up to 6 months, and it's the full gamut of services. It's the counseling, it's the WorkLife Services. Everything that I'm talking about today, you'll have in your pocket for 6 months. Now, you don't have to be enrolled in the medical program to utilize the services. This is completely separate from the medical program for you to utilize. Okay. So what I'm going to do with this slide right here is I'm going to walk you through what it's going to look like when you call in to utilize the counseling services. So to utilize any of the services, whether it's WorkLife or counseling, you're going to call into that toll-free number right there, the 1-866-327-2400. That's going to be your golden ticket, if you will. As I did mention to you previously, no matter what time of day you call in, you're always going to speak to a live person. You're never going to have to press pound, pound, scream into your phone, yes, 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 and leave a voicemail, whatever the case is, and besides, nobody likes that anyway. So once you call that number, again, it's answered by a live person, a live clinician, if you will. At that point in time, you're going to be asked to identify who you are and the organization that you're working with, just to make sure that that organization is, in fact, one of our clients. From there, we start off with demographics. We're going, like I mentioned, to ask your name, the organization that you're with, the presenting issue that you're calling in for. What we're also looking for, too, is your zip code. We don't want you driving from here to Kingdom Come to utilize counseling services. We want to make sure that we find someone within the closest radius to you. So if you're going to be leaving from your work, give us your work zip code. If you're going to be leaving from home, give us your home zip code as well. And again, at this point in time, you also do have the opportunity to let us know your comfort level, if you will, whether you feel more comfortable speaking to a male versus a female, whether you feel more comfortable speaking to a faith-based provider versus a non-denominational, etc. So with that being said, after we've gathered the demographics, we've talked about your comfort level, we're also going to make mention to you the 3 ways to utilize counseling. With Dear Oaks, we give you 3 different options to utilize any of the counseling services. The first way, of course, is face-to-face. We always promote that one at 100% because you're always going to get the basic human interaction. You get facial expression, you get body language, etc. However, we know time is precious. Not everybody has the opportunity or the time to drive to a counselor's office. So with that being said, we will offer telephonic counseling where you're able to utilize all 3 of your sessions via telephone. Now, another option that we provide, and I will show you a screenshot of what the app looks like, things like that, is something called FaceTime in a nutshell. Technically, we call it I Connect You, but with that being said, it's just honestly a FaceTime app that we designed. So the employee is actually going to be getting best of both worlds, if you will, where they're able to log on to the app with their code, which I'll present to you at the end of the presentation, and basically actually FaceTime with their provider in the privacy and comfort of their own home. Now, whatever avenue you choose to utilize your counseling services, whether it's going to be interaction face-to-face in person, whether it's going to be telephonic, or whether it's going to be FaceTime, we do encourage the employee to maintain that avenue. However, we're not so rigid that in the event you say you picked FaceTime, and after the first session you're like, it's just not my bread and butter, I'd rather utilize it face-to-face. That's not a problem, it does happen. We will go ahead and roll you over to the face-to-face in-person counseling. However, we won't be starting you with 3 sessions. We will start you with what's remaining, and that's 2. So with that being said, after, again, we do the demographics, we talk about your comfort level, we give you the 3 option that works best for you. We then get into what I like to call the meat and potatoes, if you will, of the intake call. Now, with this one, we're always going to ask 2 specific questions across the board. The first question is, we want to make sure there's no suicidal ideation. Second question, we want to make sure there's no homicidal ideation. We want to make sure that you're not going to harm yourself or others. In the event that you do say yes to either one of these questions, we're going to help you in a different route. We're still going to give you assistance, but proper channels will be put in place. I've been with Dear Oaks for going on 8 years now, and I have yet to see that occur, so that's a good thing. So in the event, we ask you those 2 questions, no are the answers to the suicidal ideation, homicidal ideation. We then get into the intake process. Now, each presenting issue will have its own respective set of questions. So if you're calling in for marital, we're going to ask you a set of, I think it's 8 to 10 questions. If you're calling in for child and adolescent issues, we're going to ask you a set of 5 to 7. So again, we're going to ask you these questions. Now, for lack of a better phrase, and this is what I'm using from a past employee, these questions can be slightly intrusive. I've had a lady tell me, why are you being so metiche? And I get it, I understand, but it's to her advantage, as I explained to her. So with that being said, the more information that you offer my clinician during the intake call, the better it is for you in the long run, and here's why. When you show up to your provider's office, we want you to hit the ground running and make the most out of your 1-hour session. So everything that we've gathered during the intake, we put into a nice summary report and provide to that clinician who's rendering the counseling services. So that way when you show up, a game plan has already been put in place, you agree to it or make some modifications, and you start your 1-hour counseling session. The questions that aren't asked during the intake call will still be asked in the counselor's office. And what will happen then is it'll start to eat into your 1-hour counseling time. So after the clinicians asked all the questions that they need to know in order to assist you, you're left with 30 minutes or 45 minutes of your counseling session, which then turns into a complaint because the employee's like, well, I thought I got an hour of counseling. Well, you did, but you still have to answer these questions in order for the clinician to put a really good game plan together for you. So that's why I encourage all of y'all to just take it with a grain of salt, answer the questions to the best of your ability. I will tell you that in the event that you choose not to answer any of these questions, that's okay. We're not going to deny you services because you didn't answer 1 or 2 questions. It's your prerogative, but I will tell you, you will still have to answer them at a later time. So after we've asked the nosy questions, we're going to get into something that we call the in-the-moment support. Now, what this in-the-moment support is, it's a free counseling session over the phone that does not count against your 3-visit model. So our clinician will never disconnect a call until he or she feels that you're mentally and emotionally sound to disconnect the call. So prior to disconnecting the call, we will ask you how you want to receive your referral, whether it's via telephone or whether it's via email. Now, if it's via telephone, you're going to give us permission to leave you a confidential voicemail giving you the provider's appointment, the name, appointment, date, and time, and contact information. Now, if it's via email, same information will be put in the body of the email. I will tell you that we have contracted with Barracuda, which we all know is a secured server. So we've had a little bit of hiccups, if you will, where employees after 2 to 3 business days haven't received the referral, and they're calling, maybe Laura and asking, hey, Laura, I reached out to the EAP, but I haven't gotten my referral. What can I do? What do I need to do? What I will tell you is what we have discovered is when the employees have not received their referral within the 2 to 3 business day allotment time frame, we tell them to check their spam, junk, or trash. Reason being is because sometimes the server does not recognize Barracuda as an actual other server, so it automatically deems that email and throws it into spam, junk, or trash. So before you reach out to me, either me or maybe HR to tell them, hey, you haven't received your information, please check those 3 folders first prior to that. Now, in the event that it's not in there, by all means, either reach out to me or Laura, and we can definitely get something rolling to make sure you get the assistance that you need. So once you do get, let's just say, your email, in the body of that email, as I mentioned, it's going to have your tentatively held scheduled appointment date and time, your provider's information, location, things like that. So what we'll need you to do at that time frame is reach out to the provider and confirm that tentatively held scheduled appointment. Now, from there, all you'll need to do is just show up to your appointment and hit the ground running on your game plan. We always do 100% follow-up for all of our clients. So if your appointment was at Tuesday at 1 o'clock, we'll call you the very next day at 1 o'clock and say, hey, how was your appointment? Did you like your provider? Was it going to be a good fit? At this time, this will be your opportunity to let us know, yeah, I didn't like that provider, or yeah, they're perfectly fine, I'm going to continue on with sessions. In the event that you did not like that provider for whatever reason that they're not going to be a good fit, it's okay, it happens. It's extremely rare, but it does happen. We'll give you that 1 session back and then find you another referral within 24 hours, so that way we don't disrupt the treatment plan, if you will. So that pretty much is the counseling aspect of what we do in a nutshell during the intake process. Now, any questions on that, please feel free to email me, or I do have an audience in front of me, so y'all can ask me afterwards. Okay, so our WorkLife Services. Our WorkLife Services, in a nutshell, is our concierge service. This is where Deer Oaks does all the legwork for you and then provides the information for you. I myself, as I mentioned, I've been with Deer Oaks for quite some time now. I've utilized every single service that you can possibly talk about. Now, going into the childcare services, let me give you some backstory of how I used it. I have a now 13-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 2-year-old. He's insane, so if anybody wants a 2-year-old, he comes with accessories. He's really cute too, by the way. I'm not just saying that because he's my kid. So with childcare, giving you backstory on how I utilize this service. When I first started with Deer Oaks, before that, I was a juvenile probation officer for Bexar County there in San Antonio. If that is a career change you're looking at, don't do it. They don't pay you enough, and it's too much hassle. And so once I left probation, I went off into another side of town because that's where my job was. So with that being said, there was a move, there was another school district, there was finding daycares for the kids, etc. So I remember on my second or third day of training, if you will, on one of my breaks, I was looking up daycare facilities for my children because, of course, I have to have someone watch the tiny humans. So my boss had walked in and she's like, hey, how's the day going? What you up to? Blah, blah, blah. was like, oh, I'm just here Googling, trying to find daycares for my kids. She's like, Madre, what do you think that we do here? Call us, like call the number, tell them what you need, and let them do it for you. You don't have time to be doing that. And I was like, oh my God, okay. So I called Dear Oaks, and Samantha, who was the WorkLife specialist at the time, she's still with us, was like, okay, how can I help you? So I was able to tell her the budget I wanted to stay within. I was able to tell her that I needed someone to, provide after-school care and pick up for my older son. I needed someone to hang out with my daughter. And then I also needed them to provide light snacks. I had other specifications and qualifications that I wanted them to have. So within, I want to say 4 business days, I received an email from Dear Oaks with 4 different daycare facilities that matched my specific need. So with that being said, I called one of the daycares. I set up a couple of tours. And the daycare that my children were going to, and I say were because they're a little bit older now, the daycare that my kids were going to was actually found by Dear Oaks. So that was a huge weight lifted off my shoulders, especially when I'm starting a new position. I'm trying to train and learn my new, position, if you will. So other ways that Dear Oaks can assist with childcare services as far as work-life services are concerned. So again, daycare facilities, if you're looking for tutoring programs, if you're looking for summer camps, if you're looking for maybe, baseball leagues. We found one for my son there in San Antonio, so we can assist with that. Again, the whole purpose of these is just to let us know what you're looking for, your specific need, and allow us to take that stressor off your shoulder. Because you've got to. Okay, elder care services. So this mirrors our child care services. Unfortunately, it's inevitable not only ourselves, but our parents, even our grandparents, are getting older, and they may need extra assistance. So with that being said, we can help you look for Meals on Wheels, hospice assistance, nursing home facilities, assisted living. If you're looking for recreational facilities, I don't call them adult daycare facilities. My grandfather hates that. Things like that. Now, I've utilized this service specifically several years ago twice, one for my father-in-law and one for my grandfather, and it was a super huge help. My father-in-law several years ago had taken a spill in his home and spent 16 hours on the floor. He didn't have his life alert on for whatever reason, was too far away from the home phone, too far away from his cell phone, so he spent, like I said, 16 hours between the threshold of the kitchen and the living room. And it was honestly by the grace of God that his next door neighbor was calling. They have like pan dulce and coffee dates in the morning, so his best friend wasn't answering the phone, so he saw his truck there and was like, okay, something is wrong. He went over, peeped through the window, sure enough, found my father-in-law where he was, called the EMT, they came and picked him up. My husband and I rushed to the ER, and it was discovered that my father-in-law couldn't live by himself anymore. But my father-in-law, no offense to the gentleman listening or the gentleman in the audience, he's that typical Latino machismo, I built this house, I'm gonna die in this house, you're gonna take me out in a body bag type guy. So there was no way he was going to come live with us, even if we bribed him with the grandkids, it just wasn't gonna happen. So what we did is, my husband's freaking out because he's like, what are we supposed to do? You have to work, I have to work, we can't do this, we can't do that, like, how do we do this? I remember telling him, just sit down, take a breather, hang out with your dad. I'm gonna go to the waiting room and make a couple of calls. The first call I made, and the only call I made, was to Dear Oaks that night. It was like after 8 o'clock. And I told them, this is what's going on, this is a situation, this is what we're going to need. So I know my father-in-law is not gonna come move with us, so let's improve his quality of life and get someone to come to his house and provide that care, if you will. So Dear Oaks actually provided us 2 different facilities that matched our specific need that were able to go to my father-in-law's, house. So we found a house cleaner because he was to that point where he wasn't, taking care of his, laundry and dishes and things like that. So we had a house cleaner come out every Friday. She would come out, and we even paid her a little extra, and she would meal prep for him on Friday so he had food for the week. And then we had Himmel Home Healthcare come out to make sure that my father-in-law was taking his medications appropriately, that he was changing his bandages accordingly, that he was always with proper hygiene, things like that. So Dear Oaks was a huge help in that specific situation, especially when you have a husband that's freaking out, you have a father-in-law who's like, no, and I'm the only one with the straight head on. So Dear Oaks was a huge help, and to this day, and this happened like 4 or 5 years ago that my father-in-law took that spill, to this day, they still go out there and take care of my father-in-law and ensure that he gets to his doctor's appointments and his house is clean and things like that. So the whole point of me sharing my stories with y'all, whether it's personal or anything like that, this doesn't want to change. The whole point of me sharing my stories with y'all is because I want y'all to know that no matter what type of situation is coming your way, whether it's something as extreme as a father-in-law falling and needing assistance, or whether it's, looking for a baseball league for your child or, son or daughter, that's something Dear Oaks can help with. You just have to allow us the opportunity to have your back. Now, this isn't working. I don't know, I think I broke it. Let me see if I can I'm gonna step out because I'm gonna see if I can press the laptop really quick. Give me just a second. Oh, it says battery's running low. All right, got it. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so going further into our WorkLife Services, now is where we're going to go into our daily living convenience, our work growth, things of that nature. So Dear Oaks is not just specifically counseling services or helping out with daycare facilities or, elder care. We can help you look for house sitters, pet sitters, nannies, maids, moon bounce for your child's birthday party, travel arrangements if you find time to take a vacation. You just simply have to let us know what you're looking for. When it goes towards the first block, which is work and career growth, we've started a program called College Assist, if you will. Now, even though we have it titled as College Assist, it's not specifically for college students, but it's for everyone in the household to utilize. The reason why we've geared it towards college students is we've noticed doing our statistics and our numbers, a lot of kids are going off to college for the first time, and their parents are solely encouraging them to focus on education, and that's it. They're telling their kids, I'll cover the cost, I've got your back with everything else, you just get that degree, yay you. Me personally, in my personal opinion, I think it puts the child at a disadvantage because they don't know how to fill out an application, they don't know how to write a resume, they don't know how to go through the interviewing process until they actually get to that point. But all these little side jobs, they could have learned all that and tweaked their skills and interviewing skills, they kind of missed out on. So that's why we've geared it towards our college-age students. So in the event that you have a child who graduates college and is getting ready, got that degree, and is like, okay, let's join the workforce, let's become an adult, yay me, but they have no idea how to go about doing that. They can actually look for the job online, they can kind of draft up a resume and then submit it to one of our clinicians. Our clinicians will get on the phone with them and say, hey, Dr. or Samantha Jones, just letting you know that your resume shouldn't be 4 pages. We don't want to know that you played softball when you were 8 years old. That's not what we want to know. So what they'll do is they'll work with them to help them minimize it and only put the important, pertinent information. So we'll help them reformat it. We'll help them put the appropriate verbiage in there, making it look really good. So that way when they submit that resume to that potential employer, they have a shot of qualifying or getting that interview. Now, in the event that they do land that interview and they're just a bundle of nerves because they have no idea what to wear, they have no idea what's coming their way, they can call back into our call center, let our clinician know their job or what they're interviewing for, the job description. Our clinicians will then mock interview with them for 30 to 45 minutes to help them prepare for those heavy-hitting questions. So that way they're walking into that interview with confidence and they have an idea of what's coming their way. And then again, at the conclusion of that mock interview, we'll give them guidance on what to wear. We don't want them showing up in skinny jeans and Converse and, a t-shirt or whatever the case is. So we'll give them some guidance on how to dress appropriately for that specific job description. Now, going into daily living convenience, as I did mention to you, we do assist with finding pet sitters, pet kennels, nannies, maids, house sitters. I do want to let you know that any referral that we send into your home, such as a nanny or a house cleaning service, or even a pet sitter, we always do a 100% criminal background check on all of our in-home referrals. So in the event that you hire or utilize one of the in-home referrals that we've given you, we're going to get notification, okay? So from there, we'll do something called 30-day check-ins. Now, these 30-day check-ins will occur at every first of the month. We'll send it to, let's just say, Laura when she was in here. We'll be like, okay, Laura, here's your 30-day check-in, letting you know that Molly Maids, specifically, Jasmine Smith, she had a background check, everything is clean, yada, yada. Now, in the event that you should get an email and one of your referrals does pop up with something, we will let you know what it is, and it's at your discretion whether you feel that the offense is enough to relinquish the services. If you should choose to relinquish the services, Deer Oaks will be notified and we'll find you another referral within 3 to 4 business days, okay? So we definitely want to make sure that you're comfortable accepting those referrals to know that when you come home, your stuff is still going to be there. Travel arrangements, as I did make mention to you, in the event you find time to take a vacation but don't actually have time to get on Kayak or Expedia or Travelocity or Lord knows however many websites and compare them all together, that's something Deer Oaks can do. You can let us know where you want to go, when you want to come back, the budget you want to stay within, any tours or excursions you want to take there, and Deer Oaks will piece together your vacation for you. So what we'll do is we'll supply you all of the information, all your puzzle pieces, if you will, for that specific vacation, and it'll be up to you to go ahead and piece it together the way you feel would be suffice for you. Now, going into health and well-being, it's January, so everybody's on that new you, new year kick thing. That's going to be dwindling down by March, if you will. Hopefully not. But in the event you're looking for personal trainers, nutrition programs, if you're looking for gyms specifically, that's something we can help out with as well. Now, going into parenting, we can help out, as I mentioned to you, with child nutrition, parenting tips on how to deal with autistic children. If you're looking for potty training, which I utilized for my daughter when she was 2 at the time, that was super helpful. And then, of course, education. As I did make mention, we help out with resume writing. We can also help out with looking for scholarships, financial aid, grants. You would simply call in, let us know what you're looking for. We're going to ask specific questions like GPA, any sports accolades, academic accolades, to try and make sure that we pair you with the right scholarship, grant, or financial aid. Now, some of these scholarships or grants will require an essay to be written to qualify for them. We're not going to write the essay for you, but if you draft up an essay and submit it over to us, one of our clinicians will review it for you and with you, so that way we spruce it up, so that way you do have a better shot of qualifying for that scholarship or grant. Oh, okay. Did I go back too much? Okay, good. Okay. So as I did mention previously, if you were to retire with the school district, you do have services up to 6 months, and it's the date that you retire. So let's just say your last day here is January 31st. On February 1st, your 6 months will start. And it's the full gamut of services, counseling services, WorkLife Services, you name it, the legal and financial as well. So legal services, here's my disclaimer, and thank goodness I'm being recorded just in case. So the disclaimer, when it comes to our legal and financial services, there are 2 things that we're not going to assist you with. First and foremost, we're not going to help you sue the school district. They're picking up the tab on this, so that's out of the question. The second one is if you owe Uncle Sam any type of back taxes, you're on your own with that one as well. So I threw them out there. It's recorded. We're good to go. So going into our legal services, we offer you, to start off with, a 30-minute consultation with an attorney, either face-to-face or telephonically, whatever works best for your schedule. Now, that 30-minute consultation, if you will, is to create a game plan with that attorney to help you resolve your legal issue. And I can tell you we have a 98.6% success rate in resolving your legal issue within that 30-minute consultation. In the event you should need to retain the services of the attorney, you will receive a 25% reduction off the hourly rate. And you are able to tell us what budget you want to stay within. So let's just say you want an attorney for property issues, if you will, that only charges $125 an hour. We'll stay within that budget, then you can apply the 25% discount to that specific amount. We do have, again, we are available in all 50 states. Our attorneys are not able to self-referral, so you're always going to get unbiased advice. Now, we also do have legal forms online. Now, these legal forms are over a plethora of different things. If you're buying a house or renting a house, if you're buying a car, selling a car, if you're an AKC breeder and you want to sell off the litter. My father had recently used this, I can't say recently, but it's been years now. There was a contract online for subcontracting. When they were moving from Corpus to San Antonio, where we are, I've got the grandkids, so they follow me. My father wanted to get some work done to his home to bring up the value. So what he did is he downloaded this contract. So that way he had a legally binding document between himself and the subcontractor. So in the event that something went awry and the subcontractor took off with their deposit or didn't get the work done to their specifications, they had a legally binding document to present in small claims court to either recuperate the funds or ensure that the work gets done to their specifications. Thankfully, nothing happened. The work got done. The house was sold. It's good to go. We also do have contracts online. If you're moving in with your significant other for the first time, I don't know how well that's going to go with the significant other that's moving in, but at least you have something to protect your assets as well as theirs. So going into our financial services, this does mirror our legal services with the one exception. The one exception is with our financial services, you do not have the option of meeting with someone face-to-face. This one is done strictly telephonically. I've utilized this one. I've utilized all our services, but what I really liked about this one is the one person you speak to when you call in is the one person who's going to be with you every single step of the way until your financial goal is met. Because let's face it, nobody likes to repeat themselves. So if you're calling in to maybe get some college preparation or savings going, retirement, investment questions, if you're calling in maybe for vacation planning, that is something that we can assist with. With my personal experience with Mr. De La Garza, he and I spoke every Wednesday at 1 o'clock like clockwork. He and I would be on the phone. We'd be sending emails back and forth to each other. He created an Excel spreadsheet for me to stay on track with my overall goal. It was vacation planning. I have a problem with purchasing shoes all the time, so I needed help with staying accountable. So with that being said, he helped me stay on track. There was an instance where I did have to pull out of that fund because I had a tire that needed to be replaced. But what was really cool is he helped me rework the numbers to make sure that I stayed on that overall goal of the time frame that I was given, or I gave myself, I should say. So ID recovery, it's pretty sad, but ID theft is pretty prevalent nowadays. So let's just say in the unlikely event, let's throw that good juju out there, that you become the victim of identity theft, or any of your household members become the victim of identity theft, we start you off with a 30-minute consultation with an ID recovery specialist. Now, what this specialist does is basically they gather the information. They need to know specifics as far as what account was the one damaged, what specific organization needs to be contacted, things like that. And this mirrors our financial. What's really cool about this one, I haven't used it, but I've had a coworker who had. And same thing, the one person you speak to is the one person who's with you until that mess is cleaned up. So if you're there for a month to clean it up, if it's for 6 months, if it's a year, it does not matter. And with also this, we also give you the opportunity to have someone working behind the scenes for you. So we have a disclaimer form that rather than you making the calls to the credit card companies or the banks and Lord knows who else you have to call and waste your time, you can give consent to one of our ID recovery specialists to work on your behalf. And what they'll do is give you weekly updates to let you know, hey, this is what's going on, this is what we've achieved, this is who we contacted, this is what we're doing so far. So that way you don't have to waste your lunch hour, you don't have to waste your time at home doing that. So how many people need to make a will? I see a lot of y'all doing this. Do y'all need to make revisions to wills as well? Okay. So did y'all know that we can help you create a will for free? Yay! So as long as you don't have like 3 yachts in the harbor, a Swiss bank account that has 3.5 in it, things like that, this free and simple will work just fine for you. So what I'm going to do is I have screenshots that I took, so I'm going to walk you through where to find all that because our wills are strictly done online. We did that more for a convenience aspect. In the event that maybe your will should be a little bit more complicated, don't forget that you have your 30-minute consultation with an attorney to help you walk through that process as well. But for everyone else that has just simple assets, the free and simple one will work just fine for you, and I'll walk you through the process in just a moment. Take the High Road. This is one of our most popular programs. So Take the High Road was designed as a safety program in the event you're not able to drive for whatever the reason. You can call a cab, Uber, or Lyft, pay that mode of transportation when you get to your destination, and Deer Oaks will reimburse you up to $45 excluding the tip, okay? So with that being said, here's my disclaimer. We're not going to take you bar hopping on a Saturday night. That's not what it's for. It's for safety purposes. So if you get a flat tire and you have to get to work, if you're going from the airport to the hotel, if you're going to the optometrist and you get your pupils dilated, and clearly you can't drive like that with the sun, anything that needs you to get from point A to point B, you can call one of those modes of transportation, pay them, and then submit your reimbursement, submit for reimbursement to us. Now, it is one time per year, so I tell my clients to utilize it wisely. It takes about 2 to 4 weeks to get the reimbursement back. If it's during high volume time frames like Christmas, New Year's Eve, Thanksgiving, like in San Antonio, we've got Fiesta, so it's like 21 days of straight partying. It's about 4 to 6 weeks to get it back. Now, I personally take care of the reimbursements for my book of business. So to start off, to get your reimbursement, you'll call into that toll-free number that's right there on the screen. From there, we'll gather some demographics. It's just for us to open up the file. Then you'll be sent a reimbursement form. On that reimbursement form, we just need your physical mailing address because I'll cut a check and send it directly to you. So it has nothing to do with direct deposit. I don't send your checks to HR or anything like that. It goes directly to your physical mailing address. So once you get that reimbursement form, you complete the reimbursement form, you'll then attach on that email a screenshot or a copy of the receipt that you utilized. Submit it over, and I will take care of the rest from there. Oh, and remember how I told you that we cover the entire household, blood relative or non-blood relative? So if you have 5 people who live in your household, you have 5 members who take the high road individually. That's my little elbow, wink, wink to you. So little Susie, 2 years old, utilizes it because she is coming home from the bar at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's not my place to judge. It's simply my place to reimburse. So critical incident stress debriefing, something that we call CISDs. So anything that affects the unit, the department, the group as a whole can be considered a CISD. So with that being said, we will have a clinician come out within 24 hours or 48 hours or another time and date and location of the referring supervisor's choosing, if you will. So what this looks like in a nutshell, we'll have a provider come out on site and do a group counseling session or a mediation session, if you will, with that group that has been affected. And so we also might do one-on-ones, just depending on the group setting, things like that. So after, we're doing them in 2-hour increments, so after the 2 hours has lapsed and we've met with that group, taught them the tips and the tools that they need to handle that presenting issue, we'll allow a week to lapse. From there, we'll contact the referring supervisor, say for instance it's Laura. We'll be like, hey Laura, how's everything going? How's that group doing? She can then at that time let us know, I think it'd be best if you come back out so that way we can give them some more services, or no, they're good, we're good to go, but thank you so much situation. So what entails a CISD? As I mentioned, it's anything that affects the group, the department, the group as a whole, whether it's a natural disaster, whether it's the passing of a coworker, whether it's a change in phone system, as in everybody hates it. Something that affects the productivity, their morale, can be considered a CISD. So I just wanted to show off the website on this one, so dearoakseap.com. So when you do access the website, you have to have a username and password to utilize to get into the actual homepage. So if you see right there where it says login, it's the acronym of your employer. It's both username and password. It is case sensitive. As you see here, it's all lowercase. So when you get onto the home screen, this is what you're going to see. If you look on the top right-hand corner, you'll see a Live Connect button. Now, the Live Connect button is not to be mistaken with iConnect. iConnect is the FaceTime counseling app. The Live Connect, in the event that you're on the website, our website is extremely robust. So in the event you're not able to locate what you're looking for because it's just too many steps or whatever the case may be, click on the Live Connect button and this will pop up. It's going to be a little chat box. So you're able to chat with one of our clinicians live, if you will. So they'll give you some guidance on what to, how to find it, or they'll give you the direct link to go ahead and just get right into it. So I do want to direct you to the top left-hand corner of the screen. You'll see something called Choose Language. So if you drop down that menu, you're able to translate the whole screen into Spanish for our Spanish-speaking employees or household members. So all of the downloadable forms, all of the screens, even some of the training seminars that we have up there are able, and they're going to be converted into Spanish for those employees or household members. Now, I do want to make mention, do you see that little box right there where it says take the high road? That's where you're going to also find your reimbursement form too. So if you look right there, do you see the lady's hand with the mouse, and it's under the thing called centers? I don't want to press a random button, so let me see if that one works. Oh, score. So do you see where it says Legal and Financial Center? So remember how we talked about the free and simple will, how that's done strictly online? That is what, when you click on the Legal and Financial Center tab, that is what's going to open up to you, NOLO. NOLO is the vendor that we've chosen and partnered up with to create these free and simple wills for you. I can tell you I've done my will and a couple of revisions through NOLO, through us. Super easy. What I liked about the service is it's a fill in the blank. You already know all of these questions, you just have to plug the information in. I want you to be mindful of something. You see where it says discount code 1601. So when you actually click on to the link to get onto NOLO, if you see right there, there is a highlighted blue link. It says click here to access your free and simple will. When you click on that link, it takes you to the NOLO website. And the reason why it takes you to the NOLO website is because we don't save any of your personal information on our website. I don't want to know your date of birth. I don't want to know how many kids you have. I don't want to know your social, and I seriously doubt you want me to know that anyway. So that's why we have a discount code. So what happens is when you click on that live link, this is what's going to open up. And if you see there, it gives you an amount, a total. Now, if you plug in the discount code of 1601 and apply the coupon, it'll zero out the entire balance for you. Now, from there, it's going to ask you to create your own personal username and password. So your own username, own password, something that you will remember. So in the event that you have to create any revisions or make any revisions, you can log in with your own personal information. Now, after you've created your own username and password, it'll release the will to you. Now, it's a fill in the blank from there. You're going to plug in your county, your city, your state, your name, your social, how many kids you have. It walks you through where to plug in all of that important information. Now, after you've done that, you're going to print out the will, have 2 witnesses sign, you yourself will sign, have it notarized, and it becomes a legally binding document in the state of Texas. And again, if you have to make any revisions, because let's face it, it's life, things change. If you have to make any revisions, just go right back in, make your revisions, same process, print, witness, sign, notarize. So for all of y'all that don't have wills, look how easy I made it for y'all. There's no reason for anybody to not have their will. Okay. So we've partnered up with Credit Karma, even though I know you can just type in creditkarma.com, but we're trying to make our website a one-stop shop, if you will. So that's a direct link to the Credit Karma website. I have it on my phone. I utilize it. I love the thing. So Savings Center. Now, I'm sure a lot of y'all have utilized Groupon or at least know what Groupon is, so everybody can, purchase merchandise at a discounted rate. So Savings Center is like Groupon, but on steroids, if you will. So it's free to access, and I dropped my water. It's free to access, and it's free for you to utilize. So you're going to not only purchase discounted merchandise, but the more merchandise you purchase, and on certain items, you will earn something called perk points. Those points can then be redeemed at vendors like JCPenney's, Dillard's, Macy's, Target, Walmart, at restaurants like Outback Steakhouse, Chili's, trying to think. BJ's is another one of them. I can't really remember. So basically, the more you spend, the more perk points you earn, and you get, free stuff in return. I had a lady at one of my health fairs one time come up to my table and was showing off her Michael Kors purse that she bought from Macy's from her perk points. So definitely utilize the service. So remember how I talked about the iConnectU app, the FaceTime app on your cell phone? If you look right there, that's what the app looks like. It's a little square with a little blue man and a red hula hoop around him. So once you get onto whatever you've got, Samsung, you've got Android or iOS, you're able to look for that app once you get into the App Store. But you can download the app all you want. If you don't have the code, you can't really utilize it. So what I will show you in just a second is the code in just a moment. So other ways that we offer services, we offer the employee newsletter. So we have 2 different newsletters that will be sent and distributed out to the employees. We have an employee newsletter that's about 4 to 5 pages in length that talks over a plethora of different things, whether it's the mind-body connection, whether it's health, you name it, it covers it. Now with our supervisors, it's only a 3-pagers, sorry about that. Now, what I really like about our supervisory newsletter, on the 3rd page is a Q&A portion, and the Q&A portion comes directly from our clients, like our book of business. So it kind of will let the supervisor know what the EAP can and cannot assist with. Okay, so this is what I want you to take. Even though I said all that stuff, this is really the takeaway that you need. So you've got the 1-866-327-2400 number. So that is the number to utilize as your golden ticket, to call in for WorkLife Service referrals, to call in for counseling referrals. There's our email address, there's our website. Don't forget to write down the username and password, which is all lowercase. And then the pertinent information, the iConnectU code. Again, you can download the app, but if you don't have the code, you cannot access the app. Now, within the app, once you've inserted the code, you'll be able to see which clinicians are on site at that present time. You'll get their resumes, pictures, so you'll be like, oh, okay, I want to go with this doctor, I want to go with that doctor. You're able to text message with them just in case you're having a bad day and just need that in-the-moment support. And then right there, you'll see my personal contact information. So for those of you who have been listening to me blab for about almost an hour now, and you have questions, feel free to email me. My email's right there. It's kherrera@deeroaks.com. My office number is 210-569-8153. So feel free to jump on and send me an email. I do check my emails religiously. I know it's a huge, huge habit. I have no work-life balance whatsoever. But feel free to give me a call or an email, and I'll be more than happy to assist you. Okay? So I don't know how to turn this off, but thank you so much for listening to me. I appreciate your time today.